Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. So when I did my very first video of the year, I had originally listed all the primaries and all the elections we should probably keep an eye on throughout the year, and I totally skipped Louisiana. And Louisiana should be on that list initially, because there is a certain rhino that is in needing of removal, and that certain rhino is Bill Cassidy. Cassidy has been on my nerves, and how could I forget about Bill Cassidy? Um, how could I forget about Bill Cassidy? This guy literally voted to impeach Trump the second time because this guy is about principle, okay? Principle and principle. Even though really he's just a do-nothing. He won't help his party. He won't help Trump. He will... But for some reason, John Thune and all the rhinos. Now, don't get me wrong. I like John Thune, okay? He's done a good job as majority leader so far. I hope he continues. But I'm not happy with his endorsement for Bill Cassidy. I'm like, this guy's done nothing but being a bum. He voted against the big, beautiful bill. This guy's a rhino. And on top of that, he's just mad Trump won, okay? He's just mad Trump won. He loves this Bush establishment. He loves the Western Hemisphere. Well, by Western Hemisphere, I mean NATO and the West. He's a Mike Pence globalist. This guy is the type of Republican that needs to go, okay? These type of Republicans do not motivate young people. These type of Republicans do not motivate the average grassroots Republican to vote, okay? This is a bum who only comes out during election time. But when it's time to get things done in the Senate, this guy just sits and slacks. Okay, he's in it for the money, and it's pretty obvious. So, obviously, you know my stance towards him. I want him to go, and he can go. But the question is, can he go? And now, I have predicted that Cassidy would win the nomination, and a lot of people in my comments in the community post are like, okay, no way Cassidy would win. And I'm saying, look, although the polls have Cassidy winning, it's very hard to beat an incumbent. We're going to kind of review the previous election and see how Bill Cassidy did. But here's the problem I'm sensing, okay? And today's news, obviously, makes it a lot easier, a little bit harder for us to get rid of Bill Cassidy, and I'll explain why, okay? Unless we do one thing. But it's becoming a little bit harder because, number one, Bill Cassidy is the incumbent. It's going to be hard to get rid of Bill Cassidy because, I kind of forgot Bill Cassidy was this anti-Trump Republican. This guy sits in the shadows. He's not like a Liz Cheney who is constantly opening her mouth. And because she opened her mouth so much and made herself an anti-Trump Republican, and made herself that figure, she lost. Okay, but Bill Cassidy is not like that. He's secretly anti-Trump. We know he's anti-Trump, but he keeps quiet for the most part about it. What I'm fearing is that people will forget about Bill Cassidy's vote to impeach Trump in 2021. Okay? I am afraid that's going to be the case. You see the polls right here. Now, you do have one specific poll from JC Analytics that show a good lead for John Fleming. This is good. We want this. Although, keep in mind, it's important to note that Blake Miguez and Eric Skermata are not getting any vote. I'd like to see them get vote until I actually point out any legitimacy of these polls. Yes, you're seeing Bill Cassidy's support plummet in the October polling. And that is something that we can't necessarily go and run with. I don't think that's very premature to do. I fear that, when Republicans come out, you may have Republicans that just may vote for Bill Cassidy out of name recognition, not really knowing his record and how he's doing as senator. They are voters like that. And I fear that Republicans, this isn't like a Cornyn race, okay? And it's looking pretty clear. We've seen poll after poll after poll that John Cornyn's probably going to lose his re-election bid in the primary. Okay, Bill Cassidy, we're not seeing enough polling. We're seeing Bill Cassidy raising a lot of money out of all the few. If John Fleming was getting more money and gaining more money and raising more money than Cassidy, then I'd be like, yeah, Cassidy's cooked. But Cassidy's winning money, gaining money, and you do have a recent poll also alongside that other poll where John Fleming supports at 25%. Cassidy's at 23%. I guess I want to see another poll before I actually get behind the idea that Bill Cassidy would lose, okay, in the primary. And until that, I'm going to continue to remain my stance saying that, look, Bill Cassidy, he's the incumbent. He's not a senator that we talk a lot enough. And because we don't talk about him enough, and this is kind of MAGA's fault. This is kind of Trump's fault, MAGA's fault, that we don't talk about him enough. We don't make him look like a Liz Cheney. We don't talk about Bill Cassidy enough. We talk about Mitch McConnell. We talk about Lindsey Graham. But we won't talk about Bill Cassidy, okay? We won't talk about him. And because we don't talk about him, no one really knows about his record, and people will vote for him because he's the incumbent, okay? He's the current incumbent. People will see the incumbents in the bracket, the word incumbent, and they'll circle it. Usually there's a little star right by indicating by his name, indicating he's incumbent, and that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I'm not getting on board with the Cassidy is done train. Okay, I am not getting on that train. I'm not saying that he is going to win. Okay, I think it's too early to make a decision. I want to see more polling, but I really believe there will be polls coming out. There is, of course, I want to believe there's a primary on May the 16th, so mark that date on your calendar. May the 16th, that's a day we could very likely get Bill Cassidy out. Okay, but during this time, here's some reflection. John Fleming, it's really about who's going to get the Trump vote. John Fleming needs to come and tout Bill Cassidy's RINO record, his vote against the big beautiful bill, and his vote to impeach Trump. He is a rotten sauerkraut. I don't know what to call him, but he's just a soured person. He's an angry person from the South. He's that typical it's like the Asa Hutchinson, but this time in Louisiana. This guy's been in office long enough. But the purpose of this video is going to be talking about a very recent candidate is announcing that she will be joining the race to primary John Fleming out. You already have an unusually crowded Republican primary challenging a Republican senator that is very unpopular among his base. But then again, we don't really know about his record, okay? His record needs to be touted. And that's why I'm saying that Julia Letlow, who looks like she's about to announce her campaign because she got a key endorsement from Donald Trump, okay? Donald Trump has come out today and announced that, yeah, I am endorsing Julia Letlow for this Senate seat. Now, she has not declared her run, but Donald Trump has pretty much declared her run for her. And because of that, Julia Letlow is likely going to announce her campaign coming up. And if that's the case, then we got a very complicated primary. We got multiple different candidates. You got Bill Cassidy, who is the incumbent. I'm afraid that he's, of course, going to win the establishment Republicans, probably Republicans in New Orleans, Republicans in the suburbs of New Orleans, in Baton Rouge. Okay, he's probably going to win those rich areas in the rich and wealthy Republicans, okay? You got also John Fleming, who is the state treasurer and a former U.S. representative. He is very popular. I mean, this guy was elected in 2023. Let's go ahead. 3 years ago, Louisiana U.S. Senate campaign. And he ran for Senate before. He lost. Yeah, you'll see he was eliminated. But I was wondering how he performed in the Yeah, what the heck? 2017? You gotta be kidding me. Get me all the way to 2023. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, 65%. Okay, so it went to a runoff. So is he that popular? Well, I mean, he did pretty well in a Democrat. I mean, it is a Republican year in Louisiana, but obviously this is a pretty big win for John Fleming. So he's running for the Senate seat after not even completing a full term as state treasurer. Is this going to backfire? Well, it's not. If he loses the primary, then it doesn't mean that his seat is gone. He still gets to hold on to his seat. So that's the good news. So it's not going to hurt him. But if he does win the Senate election, then obviously Governor Landry will appoint a new treasurer. And I don't know if state law requires a special election or somewhat. But you have John Fleming being one of the biggest names running. And as of the making of this video, hasn't declared yet, but likely, Julia Letlow, she is going to declare her campaign. And she is a congresswoman, so she's in the House of Representatives. So she's a big name. Don't get me wrong. She's a big name. I know she's not one of the biggest. She's not like a Nancy Mace or something, but she is a congresswoman in the United States House of Representatives representing the 5th District. So it's this area. So you can expect that with the Trump endorsement, if she does run, that she is going to do very well in the North, around this area especially. Okay, she comes from the community of Start. Weird name, but that's in Richland County. We can actually map this out now because I've explained in my Texas recent video, Democrat primary video in Texas, that primaries are super difficult to predict. But you can, obviously, it'd be a little premature to declare a prediction map now, but you can expect a primary what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's do Letlow in green. How about that? We'll just have Cassidy in red because he's the incumbent. We'll just keep that. Letlow in green. Cassidy in red. And in yellow, we can do Fleming. Okay? And that's the other thing. Where is John Fleming coming from? I think knowing that he's from the House of Representatives also, it's pretty easy to say where he's coming from. Okay, he's coming from, he previously held Mike Johnson's district, so he's probably going to do well over here, okay? Going all the way down, he comes from specifically, as of the last time he was in office, he comes from the city of Minden, and that's in Webster Parish. And we'll just say, what the heck? I thought I put that down. Fleming. Add candidate. Like, seriously. Okay, so we'll add Minden and Webster Parish. We got this parish right here. That's where Letlow comes from. Everywhere else, well, I'll just say New Orleans, Baton Rouge, the traditional areas are going to go for Cassidy. And I'm not saying Fleming's going to carry all this. No way. But I would say that Fleming would carry probably these counties, at least. Now, populated areas would probably swing towards Bill Cassidy. So let's go ahead and put up the Louisiana Baton Rouge parishes map. Cato Parish. That's what I was looking at. Cato has 200,000 people. What makes it so populated? You have Shreveport over here. It is a pretty Republican city, from my understanding. You got Webster Parish, which is not the biggest parish. I would say, for the most part, Cassidy's going to probably win the areas around here. Let's keep in mind, he is the incumbent, so I do believe that he's going to overperform the polls. And plus, he is leading in the primary. I'm not trying to doom. I'm just trying to have a realistic expectation, because the last thing I want to hear is whining and crying that we didn't win in the Louisiana primary. And I'm just saying, look, these incumbents are difficult and very deep. She's a deep state candidate, so he's going to be backed by the deep state. Okay, so the deep state's going to make sure he wins. Now, I'm saying let's hope he doesn't win, but I'm just saying he's a deep state candidate. You got to expect this. It's going to be difficult. This isn't a cakewalk, okay? This is not a cakewalk. I understand that Cassidy's unpopular. He's disliked by all. Yeah, I hear that all the time. But what it matters is, look, this guy's getting lots of money from everywhere, from his allies in the Senate, from John Thune, from these organizations that are funding him. Yeah, he's the incumbent. So he has that special interests in him, in this area. So let's keep in mind what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a deep state juggernaut, okay? And this isn't me cheering for him. This isn't me hoping he wins. This is me being real, okay? This is me saying, look, this is what we're up against. And it's going to be challenging, but I have a feeling that if we do a good job, if we help pick a candidate, because there's a lot of Trump Republicans that aren't really enthused with Letlow. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans that are that just want to run. I want to believe it. They want to run. I'm not blanking out again. They want to run Fleming, or they want to run another guy. And I'm saying that that's not going to be in the best interest. So, I'm trying to see. Now, I'm not trying to purposely make every single county that's bordering the home counties of Fleming and Letlow go for those candidates. I personally think that we can actually go and see the previous primary. And oh yeah, I forgot. No, there weren't any previous primary because there were jungle primaries. Was there a jungle primary? Yeah, there was a jungle primary. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, Bill Cassidy, not really challenged before. Because, until 2021, this guy has been okay, I guess. But not anymore. Tell ya, not anymore. And I would like to know, honestly, how Bill Cassidy would perform in a primary. But, yeah. I mean, this is the guy that took out Mary Landrieu, who was a very popular Democrat. Trying to figure how this is going to work. And I think, the polls are saying that, Fleming, the race with Fleming would be close. We could actually pull up a map, a ideology map from 2024, see how we're not going to use the primary map, but yeah, I gave that. This is probably going to stay for Cassidy. Cato's going for Cassidy, likely. We'll say Fleming wins this county. Yeah, I think he's going to be winning a lot of these areas. Yeah, it's very hard to predict primaries. It's very hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably the parishes in night over here would probably be voting 90%. I gave these parishes. Let's go ahead and give this parish to Letlow. And yeah, this is like, and this would go to a runoff, right? This would go to a runoff with this result. That's what I forgot to say. Part of how we can beat Bill Cassidy is if this goes to a runoff. And that's likely what's going to happen. Okay, this is probably going to go into a runoff, and as a result to that, we're going to make sure we get the anti-Bill Cassidy people out, and regardless who wins, whether it be Letlow or John Fleming, we're going to make sure we back that candidate 100% so we can get Cassidy out. But I'm just saying that runoff allegedly will be in June. Let's actually see. Okay. First, I want to make sure that I got the right results. Okay, perfect. But yeah, you have a primary specifically on the 27th of June. Okay, so we could start the 4th of July strong with Bill Cassidy out. That's something we are hoping that will be the case. But this is kind of my expectation of what a Louisiana primary would look like. A first round, at least. This is definitely going to be a runoff if it's going to look like this. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.